Welcome to Granny Shifting. I'm Jason.
And I'm Ryan.
And this is minute 20 of the Fast and the Furious podcast called Granny Shifting. How'd I do?
It's also minute 20 of Fast 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, hey, it's Jesse from the original Fast and the Furious, and you're listening to Granny Shifting, the Fast and Furious podcast.
That was pretty good.
The teleprompter broke. I grew up in a middle class. Wait, what did Kamala say?
She worked at McDonald's. Did you see?
No, she didn't. Trump did.
What? Kamala said that she worked at McDonald's. Like 1 in 3 Americans works at McDonald's.
Oh, he did a whole thing. He's like, she never worked there.
Yeah.
Nobody can find any record of it.
So, I don't know if you saw this whole thing. Not to get political, because we already know who the president is.
Right.
But Kamala came out. She said she worked at McDonald's. She's just like every one of us, you know.
Right. Her mom.
And then they had a picture come out of her in a McDonald's outfit. You haven't seen this?
No.
And then, like, weeks later, this girl came out and said, "This is my picture. This is a picture of me." This white girl came out. And they showed the picture side by side, and they definitely
Put her
photoshopped
face on it.
a young Kamala Harris
my
on top of this
word.
girl.
That's crazy.
And it was, pretty interesting.
No, I didn't see that in the news. That's weird.
You're looking at the wrong news. You should look at my Twitter feed. I mean, X feed.
I did think it was
Actually, there's
funny.
almost
My
nothing
sister,
political on my Twitter except for the ads.
My Twitter's all... I find this... Well, it's very political. And a little bit of Apex. My sister sent some snaps. She lives in the city, and the streets are all shut down. I was like, what's going on? She said, oh, Cheeto came to town. And I was like, Cheeto? And then I like Googled Cheeto, and it's like the mascot from Cheetos. Like that's the name of that.
Okay.
And I'm like, what? And then I would put Cheeto in Lancaster, and then it said, Cheeto will be in Lancaster. And I'm like, that's so weird. They shut down the street for this mascot. And then the next day it hit me. I'm like, oh, they're making fun of Donald Trump because he has an orangish hue to him.
Oh.
And then I was like, it's Donald Trump in our city. And sure enough, he was. And I was like, how ironic that my sister, like, isn't the Democrats' beef with Donald Trump is that he makes fun of people based on how they look?
Yeah.
And then whatever. Okay. Anyway, I thought that was a little ironic.
Someone at work said, "Did you see Donald Trump was at Lancaster Airport yesterday?" I'm like, no, I had no clue. I didn't even know Elon Musk was in Lancaster.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Because my
Could've won $1
father-in-law
million.
told me that they were at the convention center, Marriott, whatever that is. And whatever they were doing at that, right above them was Elon Musk's thing, and he was giving $1 million away to somebody.
Oh.
And yeah.
Wasn't you,
So,
huh?
Wasn't me.
Dang. I
Could've
didn't
been.
win. I didn't win either.
I would never tell you.
I also didn't get you would tell me,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't announce it on the podcast.
You would notice a little different.
If
difference.
Ryan got the $1 million, we'd go back to 2 episodes a week.
Yeah, because I wouldn't work.
Really?
I wouldn't work
you
my
would go
same
out on
job.
your own. Yeah.
I wouldn't work my same job.
You'd have the financial freedom to be a little more risky.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I know about Ryan,
I'm risky.
he's risky. That's what we call him, Risky Riot.
That's right. I would stream full time.
Yeah?
Man, what a grind that would be. How's it going so far?
Hey, if you guys are on Twitch, make sure you look me up. Burnout Media, all one word.
You should,
Follow me.
you have a good YouTube following. You should stream to YouTube.
I did try that, but YouTube is set up really poorly for
That's true.
finding streams. People would rewatch my streams, but like getting live, like literally if you go to YouTube Gaming,
Oh, it's horrible.
it gives you like the top or whatever 10 games they choose to show you. You
Right.
cannot find Apex Legends and browse who's streaming Apex.
Yeah.
You have to choose the one that shows up, and then you can browse who's streaming it. It's just terrible for finding.
So
It could be a great platform. They
go
let
to
you-
YouTube, look at what games are available to watch streaming, and then just play that game.
No, they swap them out every day.
Right. I'm saying that day, just play that game.
Well, and it might even be different per person. What
That's
you see.
true. That's
They're trying.
true
It's
too,
like an
yeah.
algorithm that they're trying to show. Because it should show me Apex. It doesn't. Because sometimes I want to watch it's so hard to find live Apex
Oh,
on
yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
But the streaming platform is nice. The quality is great. Anyway, so yeah, I've been streaming on Twitch, but
Yeah.
it is
Look
it's a
for
grind
burnout.
because it's like a commitment. You know, it's like
yeah.
I'm like it's 11 o'clock. I'm getting on, and like 2 hours. It's just a long time to play video games.
I wonder what the average streamer is, because I don't like the big names that I follow don't stream for more than 6 hours. But I know some
yeah,
people do.
6 hours though
Yeah.
is wild because you're talking about live,
That's-
whether you're eating or.
Right. That's a
I
short work day though.
So many streamers are like, hang on, middle of a game, and they come back with DoorDash, and then they're
Yeah.
like playing, eating as they're playing.
Yeah.
Man,
But some of what I mean,
It's
you
not-
probably see some of this, but some of what, like, if I'm sitting down to play a video game, like, okay, I have exactly 2 hours to play this. The only, like, I'm gonna pee in between. Like, if I get downed, I'm gonna go pee because, like, I'm not like my time ends here. Where if you got 6 hours, you know, each
Yeah.
game is less important.
but you said that's a short day, but it's really not, because a big part of that is like you have a community you need to interact with, like whether it's through Discord.
Right.
You also need to produce content. So unless you have somebody hired to go through now your 6 hour stream and pull out, because that was one of the reasons I'm streaming. Like sometimes there's good clips, and I wish I had them.
Yeah.
Well, now I do, but now I'm like, man, I have to remember, like, it only stays on for a week on Twitch, so I got to go back through and download all these streams, and I have like all these hours of gameplay footage I need to go through to find cool clips. Like, I got to figure something else out, because like I'm not rewatching all. Like, I'll flip through them, and I don't know.
You should. Oh,
Go ahead.
can I offer you some advice?
Yeah.
I think if you had your phone or a phone, as soon as you start streaming, you hit stopwatch, go. And then
Okay.
every time you're like, oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, write it down,
Hit
like the
lap.
time.
And then you'll
Oh.
see at the end,
Then I
you
can
can
just
see
go
all
back
your
in.
times.
Yeah, if I would get like organized
Yeah.
and do
You
that,
can't clip stuff yourself.
you can, but it only clips 30 seconds, and it's the previous 30 seconds from when you clip it. So if you're in a fight, something cool happens, I have to like Windows out of my gameplay screen, go over to my other monitor, hit the clip button,
Yeah.
and then go back into the game. It doesn't have there
Yeah.
was one time where I was like, oh, I should clip that. So I went, clipped it. And then when I rewatched, I'm like, oh, I missed it by like a minute. Like time,
Right.
you know what I mean? Time moves
Yeah.
quick when you're in like. Anyway, so
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I'm not going to worry too much about the producing content right now. I'll try to do what you're doing and like just try, rather than going through all of it.
Right.
If something really cool happens, try to capture that moment.
Right.
But yeah, so
Yeah. It's hard.
it's more than 6 hours.
If you
though,
stream
gotta
for
do
even
that.
an hour and you're like, man, that one fight was really cool. And
Yeah.
you have to search through that whole hour for that, you
And
know,
then edit
30-second stuff. And you're like, where, what was it? It was before this, after this? Like, yeah.
Then you need to edit it and then post it.
Right.
You know, it's more than 6 hours.
Yeah. That's the other 4 hours of your workday.
So anyhow, we are in minute 20. Brian is hanging, Dom is hanging, and this guy's left to kill or torture them. We don't know, but there's a sheet of plastic under them to help clean up the mess easier.
Yeah.
So something bad's about to happen.
We do find out that there are two guys.
Okay. Yeah. What's
So-
in his hand here? We don't see.
We don't see anything. But
So the mustache guy walks up to Brian. Brian immediately swings his legs up and kicks him.
yeah.
And then this is really impressive. Dom is handcuffed. Oh, okay. So they're hanging. Oh my word! Do you know how painful this would be?
Yeah.
They're
No, I mean, I don't, but
they are handcuffed, and the handcuffs are hooked to a chain hoist. So they are hanging from a set of handcuffs.
yeah. That
Those
was
things hurt your wrists, I've heard, when they're just on.
right.
But to hang from them, I feel like they'd literally be cutting you.
And he just,
Those are not Dom's hands.
no, they don't look like Dom's hands. He just pulls them right apart.
He snaps his handcuffs.
Yeah.
He just rips him off the hook. And so Brian had kicked the guy. Now Dom grabs him. Or is that the other guy?
No, it's the same guy. Dom starts choking him. And the other guy that was kind of hanging out in the back.
Goes to punch him.
No. There's a gun in here. He brings up a gun.
Is that an orange gun? What is it?
No,
a
this
flare
is
gun?
his hand. This is the gun.
Oh, it's dark.
Yeah.
Dark in the room.
Yeah.
Gun right at Dom's face. Oh, yeah, because Dom smacks out of the way right as he fires it.
Shoots
Misses
right at Dom's ear, which would be like,
Donald Trump.
yeah. But he would be like, I mean, that would be so loud. He would be deaf.
Oh, a gun going off that close? You're right.
Yeah. Inside of a
nothing.
room.
But Dom overpowers him, swings him towards Brian. Brian gives him the old crotch chokehold, wraps his legs around him, and now Brian can sit nicely on his shoulders rather than
like,
hanging
oh,
from his hands.
Sweet reprieve for my wrists.
So Dom's loose, Brian's not. They are just starting to beat these guys up. And then we get a scene change. We don't get to see what happens.
My assumption is they get out.
Yes.
I mean, Dom could handle those two guys by himself.
They were beating them guys up. Luckily, all the other guys had left.
Right.
So nobody else
exactly.
ran in with a gun and just shot him. So we get a drone or a helicopter here flying over the city of Rio. No desert in sight.
This looks like just where they were to begin with, where Vince lives.
Yes.
But they're in this warehouse, office building.
Yeah.
Like-
So it looks like a warehouse, but it has some dressers, has a table,
A desk back here.
a desk
here,
with a
yeah.
shortwave radio on it,
Yeah.
a fan. And parked in the middle here is the GT40.
Yeah.
And standing next to it is Mia, listening to the radio.
The radio says the American fugitives killed 3 DEA agents during a train robbery, and they're considered armed and dangerous, stuff like that, which is all fake. Fake news. It's all
Because
made up.
they weren't the ones that killed him.
Yeah.
Which is, in the past, it's been they were set up. Now, there's just a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Because somehow the DEA agents didn't notice the Mexican cartel there
Right.
at all. And they knew they were American.
Yeah.
I guess it's I keep calling them a Mexican cartel. It's the Brazilian cartel.
Yeah.
But pause this for a second. My first thought seeing this GT40 was like, okay, Mia found a place to park this.
Yeah. Where was this? This is their safe house or something.
It must
but-
have been where they're planning to go.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, okay, a GT40 in anywhere in the world would be like oh my word, did you see that car?
Right.
In a rough neighborhood where everybody's, oh boy, we got a problem over here. Ryan just knocked a picture off the wall. Things are getting crazy. It is a Star Wars patent, November 2nd, 1982.
Yep.
Of one of the starships.
That's a snow speeder.
Oh, the snow speeder from the ice planet.
Hoth. You're right.
Yeah, I heard Luke Skywalker was in a motorcycle accident,
Yeah.
destroyed his face. So the director had to rewrite the scene to take place on an ice planet so he could wear a mask. And then he had him get in an accident
Yeah.
so that they could continue the storyline but still use him with his messed up face
Right.
rather than getting a new actor. They said it would have been much easier to find an actor that looked like him. They even shaved down the good side of his face to try to make it match the side of his face that was shaved down from the road in the motorcycle accident.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah.
it was that bad of an accident.
Yeah,
And he
they,
has a
had to rebuild it.
scar. Yeah, early in the movie, he gets attacked by a wampa, and was the reason for his.
We had a guest pastor on Sunday,
Okay.
and he brought this up, made a really good point. You know, people say, okay, God has a plan. So if God knows the plan, then does it really matter what we're going to do because his plan's going to work out anyway?
Mm.
And his point was God has to use us even with the mistakes we make, but he can rewrite the plan. If a director can do that for Star Wars, God can do that with us. But it can slow things down or make it more difficult. Yeah. Anyway, I was like, oh, that's really interesting. So our decisions do matter.
Yeah. That's like the guy who was.
So I got a little Star Wars information on Sunday morning.
That's like the guy who was, in a flood, and he's out there on this pedestal in the middle of water. He's gonna die.
Noah?
No,
Oh,
this is more recent than that. Helena, Helene, I don't know, Agatha, one of the storms.
Okay. Very
And he's
recent.
like, God, save me from this, please.
Okay.
And the guy came by in a boat, and they're like, do you need help? He's like, no, God's going to save me. And someone else came back. Someone else
Is
came
this true?
with a life jacket and was like, no, God's going to save me. And then the guy ends up dying, and he gets that, and he's like, why didn't you save me? He's like, I did. I sent a boat and a
Yeah.
life jacket and a helicopter.
No, this is not a true story. It's a
No.
good point, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, that is true.
And that's
they
your
actually,
sermon for
They
today.
actually filmed that scene in Norway.
Oh, to get the ice?
Yeah. And there was actually like a blizzard that they were filming in. So a lot of that's
Can you
real.
imagine? I always wondered, too, in movies, you're like, how annoying it must be to, like, all right, we got a thunderstorm. Let's go. We got to
Right.
record this. We need the thunderstorm scene. Like, oh, there's no rain for 2 weeks. We got to wait 2 weeks till we can film this scene.
Right. Or like a
Whatever, stuff like
sunset
that.
scene. It's like
yeah.
you have very limited time to film that scene.
Right.
Don't mess it up. But this movie doesn't have anything that interesting. Yet.
All right.
Yet.
So, Mia. Oh, it's my whole point of that. Not all of that, but up until that. Somebody would have, without a doubt, noticed a GT40 driving through anywhere. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Shane, my buddy Shane, has one of these, and most people don't know he has it. So many people, I see a lot of my other friends on Facebook posting pictures when they see the thing around town.
Right.
So many people. Oh my word! No other car I've seen get this like much attention from the most random friends on Facebook. And I'm like, oh, they saw it. And
Right.
I'm like, how funny. That's
They don't
my
know. They're
buddy's
just taking
car.
a picture of it wherever he's driving. And they
Right,
said,
'cause
saw
it's
this
a
GT40.
A Mark 1 GT40 is like incredibly rare,
Right.
incredibly valuable. So you drive a car like that through Rio de Janeiro,
Right.
people are going to notice. Good luck parking it somewhere where people don't think like, hey, there's a multi-million-dollar car parked in that old warehouse.
Right.
Or
People would have followed her in there.
and the police would just be like, hey, we're looking for a GT40, Pantera something. And you're like, what's that? But the GT40, they would have known. They'd
Right.
be like, yeah, we saw that in our town.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that's probably what he meant. Like, wherever she is, we're going to find her.
Yeah, that's true. So Mia hears somebody coming to the warehouse.
Yeah.
So she grabs a metal square tube, metal
of
stock
something.
to use as a weapon.
But then we hear Brian's voice say, Mia,
Mia. And she comes around, gives him a big hug.
I'm pregnant. No, she doesn't tell him. They exchange
he doesn't know
pleasantries.
she's pregnant.
No.
She should not have been doing that if she was pregnant.
Yeah, I agree.
Driving a GT40.
In her condition.
In her condition.
She couldn't even get on a
With
catamaran, let alone jump off trains.
Wait, what happened on the catamaran?
No, when we were in Mexico, one of our friends was pregnant,
Oh, yeah.
and they wouldn't let her on the.
Thrifty Ginger's wife wasn't allowed to go out sailing with us. I mean, it was me and Thrifty Ginger sailing, and we don't have a whole lot of experience, but they saw she was pregnant, and they're like, no.
They said because of her condition.
Yeah, that's right. There's a language barrier, though.
Yeah.
Dom
And-
comes in a couple seconds later, gives her a hug, and looks at her weapon.
Kind of gives her grief about it a little bit.
Yeah, makes fun of her a little bit. Like, what are you going to do, man? I
Yeah.
broke out of handcuffs. You want to hit me
She's
with
like
that?
85 pounds soaking wet.
Oh, I bet you'd like to see that.
And she kind of smirks at him, and he says, just like a Toretto. Because they're street fighters, you know?
Yeah, always ready for some action. And that's it.
And that's the end of minute 20. That's crazy. What a crazy minute.
Yeah, very crazy minute.
I'm glad everyone was here to enjoy it with us.
Yeah, and hope you got a good sermon today from us.
Learn something about Star Wars and God's saving power.
His plan,
Yeah.
which the decisions you make matter.
Yeah. You didn't make the decision you could have, and you know it.
Thank you, Jordan. Was that Jordan Peterson
Could be.
or my brother?
That was an interpretation of Jordan Peterson. Thanks for listening. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Jason.
Always remember,
Winning's winning.